Yeah, welcome back to the Kyle Horner Show. Kyle Horner with you. And from a sad story with Cindy's closing to a happy story here, a local realtor has been honored provincially after turning a family's medical crisis into a successful community mission. In 2018, Liam Boomenlag was born with congenital heart defects requiring life-saving open heart surgery. Shortly after birth, he was transferred from Windsor Regional Hospital to the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto, where he underwent critical cardiac surgery. Following the procedure, Liam required extended in-home recovery beginning in April of 2018, including IV medications, monitoring, and specialized care equipment. Now, during the transition from hospital to home, the Fight Like Mason Foundation provided the Boomerang family with Mason's Power Pole, their one-of-a-kind IV system, a critical piece of equipment that allowed Liam to safely receive medications at home and continue his recovery surrounded by family. Now, 8 years later, the foundation is the recipient of a meaningful act of gratitude. Arms Boomerang Realtor and Team Lid Arms Boomerang Association of the Bob Pedler Real Estate Limited Brokerage has been named a recipient of the 2026 Real Heart Award presented provincially by the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation. And joining us to discuss this recognition, this award, is Iain Macri, Vice President of the Fight Like Mason Foundation, and Arms Boomerang Realtor and Team Lit of Arms Boomerang and Associates at Bob Pedler Real Estate. To the both of you, Iain, Arms, thank you so much for joining me. How are you today?
It's going good, buddy. Thanks, Kyle, for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Kyle.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming, Arms. Appreciate you coming on. And Arms, let's start with you. First, can we get a little bit of background on Liam? Of course, being your son, I know a little bit of him. I know he's a big superhero fan. How much did it mean to him to have Mason's Power Pole? And maybe explain a bit of the Power Pole and how it kind of works together with superheroes.
Yeah, it's and thanks for spending some time with us on this, Kyle. When Liam came home from Sick Kids, he had an NG tube. When he had his open heart surgery to correct some of the congenital heart defects that he was born with, they did a thoracotomy, which was about a 12-hour procedure where they came through his back to perform that surgery on his heart. Knowing how unique his heart was, they did a 13-hour surgery, open heart, when he was about 6 days old. As a result, because, as I say, the space there in his chest was so small, they did nick his vocal cord during the surgery. So there was a chance that his voice would be extremely muted. That is not the case, which is great to know. But as a result, he had to have an NG tube placed in that allowed him to eat and drink formula. Not knowing any of this, Carrie and me being new parents at the time, we were quickly thrust into procedures and things to do with the NG tube, including making sure that he had his food around the clock. So, when we got home from the hospital, we didn't have any of this equipment. We didn't have any kind of know-how on how to do this. And, we were hanging some of his IV bags from literally the curtain rods in our house when we lived in South Walkerville. In comes Iain and Chantel. We had known Iain through the media. I was working with you guys at CKLW. Got to become a good friend of Ian's through the years, and they have been nothing but godsend to us through that difficult time to say, look, we've got this equipment for you. It's not as quote-unquote sterile. It'll be something that'll sort of put hopefully a smile on your face and your son's. And we were happy to have a Mickey Mouse power pole brought to the house that we used through his recovery process, which outside of it being, sort of a ray of sunshine for us, it was needed to have that kind of equipment in the home. So we were eternally grateful to them.
Iain, can I bring you in here and can you just kind of ask how that relationship began? And did you reach out and say, hey, listen, we have these power poles here? And I do have to ask, I mentioned superheroes. I think some of them are superheroes, if I'm correct about that. But I like how we obviously know that the Boomerang family, Arms and Liam, big Disney fans. So Mickey would have been a good one there. But just explain this power pole here. And, I guess a little bit of, just some nice security when it came to helping out this family.
Absolutely. Our Power Pole program it's obviously one of the things that we're probably most known for now, considering it's basically the only kid-friendly, colorful IV pole that basically ever existed. And, it was a similar situation to Arms. When we were at home with Mason, Chantal looked at our IV pole that we had at home when Mason was sick. And she was just kind of like, why does that pole still have to look like that? Why is it the same since it was the day it was invented. And she just kind of had this spark of like, why can't it be fun? Why can't it be colorful? And why can't it be something, that a kid can be proud of that they're carrying around? So, fast forward to, Fight Like Mason being created and our mission to make a difference for kids and everything in the community. The pole didn't exist. So, we had to create it. So lo and behold, our power poles were born. And then Liam would have been one of the first kids to receive them. We started it pretty much that year in 2018 is when they became available to kids in the community. So we started off donating them to obviously Windsor Regional Hospital, but we realistically started just with kids going home on IV therapy or needing to be have that supply at home. And it was just to be able to brighten up that house, right? Your house becomes a hospital. And at that point, when you're treating a medically fragile kid at home, and to be able to color it and brighten it up with something that's, inviting and not, scary for kids. That's what it was all about.
Yeah. Arms, what has it been like? 8 years now since it all happened. Obviously, I follow the family, and Liam is full of life. But what has it been like these past 8 years for the family? And then what was it like getting that award and, just everything that you've been through, everything the family's been through, with a little bit of recognition there, just saying, thank God for the Fight Like Mason Foundation to be there for a family like yours in need.
It's been a big reset.
Yeah.
I would say it's a reset for me. I think things that mattered a lot to me don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the things that really I cherish in my life, family, community, good relationships with good people, that's all been sort of center stage. It's been a refocusing for me, certainly through the different careers I've had, to really find something where I can truthfully give back and really hear about people's stories. Our story in our family was something that we didn't expect, with Liam having his heart issues. And those don't go away, right? And a lot of people I run into, whether they're clients, folks in the community, how's he doing? What's going on? I followed your story on Facebook. His heart defects are going to be something that he lives with. Now, the idea is as he grows bigger, his heart continues to adjust. And we're up in London at London Health Sciences we're about every 8 months, 9 months with his cardiologist, Dr. Grattan, who I have to give a shout out to. And everything's stable, but there may be a time where things aren't. And that next trip from London is back up to sick kids for more surgery. So we take it day by day. Liam has a number of health issues alongside of his congenital heart defects. He's had a weakened immune system. He's had a number of other health things that we've had to address. But, as a family, we take it day by day. Mm-hmm. And we try to focus on the positive. So really refocusing what we do on a day-to-day basis is try to focus on each other, try to focus on what we can do, and just try to do right by people. So being able to be in this position now in a real estate perspective, I've been doing this for about 5 years with my partners, Braun Dunno and Debbie Nedden, who are veterans in the industry, is, we really want to get back to basics here and say, yes, we are, we're active in the community, we're selling homes, we're helping people through major financial decisions, but we're also actively giving back because we want to, because we have those personal ties to the community, and any chance that we can, we're going to. So when the Ontario Real Estate Foundation gave this award out, and we went up to Toronto last week, they had said, we're going to give you $500 to a charity of your choice. So I sat down with my partners in our brokerage and said, okay, so what are we going to do? And they said, well, let's top it up and let's go to Fight Like Mason. So we're able to donate today. I know Liam's on March break and he's at Grandpa's right now, playing some Fortnite, I'm sure. But we're going to head over to the Fight Like Mason Foundation out in Lakeshore today and donate a total of $2,000, just a little way for us to give back and to say thank you to Iain and Chantal and everybody who works alongside Fight Like Mason.
Well, Iain, let's wrap it up with you on that. What does $2,000 do for a charity like yours? But also wrap us up by talking about the legacy of Mason. Let's make sure we remember Mason in all of this too. And, obviously his legacy lives on throughout many organizations, many accomplishments throughout this area, but especially when it comes to these IV polls, right? Maybe just touch on a little bit of both those.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is like I said, it's a great full circle moment, and to have Arms and the whole family give back to us, in this way, it means so much, and it's amazing because we're just right now. It couldn't be more perfectly timed too, because we're just about to. Well, we just started doing our next run of Power Pole creations, and this will get an entire Power Pole made ready for us. So it couldn't be more perfectly fitting for the $2,000 donation, and then it's the whole thing too, right? It's now essentially Liam and Arms are helping the next family, go that has to eventually go through something like this. And of course, all these are unplanned, right? This isn't something anybody accounts for. So when, a crisis hits, your family, you want to have a resource ready for them to get through everything. So, and that's kind of the whole thing, right? We always felt like, our family, there's so many great organizations out there that help in crisis, but we felt, Mason never had a fight like Mason. So to be able to help that next family through it, that's the whole piece of it.
That's what it's all about, right? Iain, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Again, Iain Macri, Vice President of the Fight Like Mason Foundation. And Arms, before we let you go, I know you have another announcement that you'd like to make.
Yeah, thanks, my man. Just because we talked a little bit about the award on social media, we want to give a shout out to an anonymous partner of our team. It's a gentleman who does a lot of work in the community who saw what we're doing here. And they do some work in the real estate industry congruently to what we do. But on behalf of that individual, we will be swinging by Windsor Regional Hospital this afternoon, Liam and I, with another check of $2,000 to We Care for Kids, support pediatric programs in honor of Liam and in honor of the generous community that we had. So Windsor is a great community, as you know, Kyle, and we're just happy to be a part of it and very grateful for you and everybody who's continuing to focus on the positive.
Yeah, We Care for Kids, great organization as well. Kate and everybody over there that has something to do with We Care for Kids, that is huge, and I know they will be greatly appreciative of that. Arms, thank you so much, man. Really do appreciate it and continue making a difference in this community. And give Liam our best, okay?
We'll see you on Experts on Call in a couple
All right,
weeks.
buddy. Yeah, you got it. There you go. Arms Boomenlag. He is the realtor and team lead of Arms Boomenlag and Associates, Bob Peddler Real Estate Limited Brokerage. $2,000 going to the Fight Like Mason Foundation. $2,000 going to the We Care for Kids. If you'd like to make a donation too, when it comes to the Fight Like Mason Foundation, fightlikemason.org. His legacy will always make a difference in this community. We'll take a break. We'll end the show having some fun. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Where are we going for the party? Where are we going for the corned beef brisket? We'll have that talk coming up next here on the Kyle Horner Show on AM800.